Hello and welcome to this new year, new game, or new campaign should I say. This is the opening scenario of the two fat lordies storming the Citadel Deutschland at Kursk Pint-Sized campaign, which I bought before Christmas. Printed it off, got the game here already. This is the big German attack on the 5th of July 1943 to close up the Kursk salient. One that leads to one of the biggest tank battles in the Second World War. But this scenario is actually set on the 4th of July, the day before. It's a German probing attack to close down some of the Soviet observation posts. This is a interesting scenario because it's quite open wide steppe. There's hardly any scenery on this one, but what I'll do is take you through the various well, I'll show you the board, I'll show you the figures that we're going to be playing with, and we'll get this game started. But I just wanted to say really before we start, I've also done up a little roster as well for the troops. The Germans have got 3 platoons to choose from to use throughout this campaign. The Soviets have only got 1 for the first at least 6 rungs of the campaign anyway, until they can then choose the second one. So it's going to be a pretty tough campaign this, I think, for the Soviet defenders, because they've really got to stay on top of their casualties and ensure that they are able to keep fighting through to the next round. Anyway, like I say, I'll show you the board, I'll show you the figures, and we'll get on with this one. So this is the table here. The Germans are coming on from this edge, the Soviets are defending from this edge, and as you can see there's very little in the way of scenery. This is all scrub, very low grassland. The steppes of Kursk are really old and flat. It's meant to be uphill from the Germans' point of view towards the Soviets, but because you can't really tell the difference between the contour lines, I've left it as a flat table. I've already done the patrol phase, and we've already chosen our support options, and in this case, let me just show you, one of the support options the Soviets chose was this marsh. So they've actually placed that there so that it's funneling the German attack around into the grasslands over there if they want to be moving quickly, and they will want to be moving quickly because there's a lot of open space. The Germans came in over here. They got this far forward with their patrol phase, not particularly far at all. The Soviets managed to really shut them down pretty quickly, and they got very far forward with at least 2 of their jumping off points here behind this cover. The scrub is light cover if you don't move in it, but otherwise it doesn't affect anything apart from movements. And there is a Soviet observation post of 2 men over here, and the Germans are going to be looking to close that one down. If they do, they win the game. There's no real winners in this scenario. It's more about a probing attack for the Germans, just to make sure that some of the Soviet observation posts are closed down. They're going to be wanting to cause as much damage as possible on that Soviet platoon though in this particular scenario, bearing in mind they've also got 2 other platoons that they can bring in during this campaign. Alright, I'll show you the platoons and what they're made up of anyway. So these are the forces that we're dealing with today. So the Germans have got their platoon A. This is led by Unterfeldwebel Hans Müller. He's a 20-year-old, tall and thin, a true German aristocrat. He's also got the CEO's opinion as well of 1, so he's quite well liked by the officers. They have paid for their support options. They've basically just paid for an extra senior leader, so they've got sergeants in there as well with them. Each of these sections are broken into 2 teams of a LMG with 3 crew, on both of those, and then one has an extra rifleman, and the other team has an extra 2 riflemen. So there's a lot of firepower just in this small group here. The Soviets, on the other hand, they have 4 sections. And again, this is their only platoon they've got. Each one of these are made up of 8 men. 2 of these are made up of 6 riflemen and a 2-man LMG team, each one led by their junior leader. 2 of them have got 2 LMGs in, so again another heavy hitting sections really. This is the platoon that's led by Alexander Ivanovov, Lieutenant Alexander Ivanovov. He is a loyal party member. He's a fine Soviet citizen. He's age 24 and pretty average. This is the chap down here. They have also paid for, as part of their support options, they paid for the marsh, but they've also paid for entrenchments as well. I've got these barbed wire just to show that they are entrenchments. So that's 2 of their sections are going to be entrenched when they come onto the table. That provides them with hard cover. So again, they're going to be pretty tough to shift. But let's start the game. The Germans have got the initiative. Let's see if they can force forward the way to Kursk. So I've done the force morale rolls. The Soviets ended up with 10, so that's pretty high anyway. The Germans got 11, the maximum, because they're elites. They got a +2 on their roll. Also interesting in this scenario, this campaign, the Germans get an extra 4 command dice, which they can spend throughout each scenario. Once it's gone, but they can chuck it into their total and add on an extra dice up to 6 instead of their normal 5. Also, the Germans as well will be getting, for any single 6s that they roll, they will be getting an extra command, an extra chain of command points. So they've got quite a high initiative and also a lot of command and control going on. But let's see what they get for their first roll. Well, they've got a 3 6s, so that's retaining control of the phase anyway. 2 5s is 2 chain of command points, so that's straight up. So the 3 6s ends a turn, but there's absolutely no reason to end that turn. But they do actually get the next phase, so it's the Germans again. I'll give them a roll. 2 6s means that they retain the phase again, but they also have a 2, a 2 and a 1. So a 1 is a team. The 2 2s are sections, but they could combine some of these, so I might combine those into a junior leader and a section. So 2 German sections have come on, one with a junior leader who's put his section onto Overwatch as they've arrived, but they've basically taken up positions really just to try to overwatch the jumping off points of the Soviets that are opposite them. But the Germans retain the phase, so let's see what they do with the next one. Right, the German next phase then. So the 6 on its own gives them another chain of command points, so that takes them now up to 3. Pretty good going. So they've got 3 4s, in fact, which are all senior leaders, and a 3 which is another junior leader. So actually that means they could bring everything onto the board, so that's pretty good for them. So the Germans have used their 2 senior leaders and that junior leader they rolled for to basically shove as many of these units forward. Their senior leader came on, he commanded this unit, this section to move forward, to start moving on the jumping off points of the Soviets. Their other senior leader, Hans Müller himself, came on and he ordered this unit, this section, to move forward through the scrubland over there to get down onto a covering flank to lay down some fire over there. Then their junior leader brought on their 3rd and final section, put them on Overwatch, so they're now covered and they're covering those Soviet jumping off points as well. So far there's been no activity from the Soviets, but let's see what their first phase brings. Well, they've got 2 6s, so they're retaining the phase, 2 1s and a 3, so that's a junior leader and possibly a section. Right, the Soviets have popped up. 2 of their sections, the dug-in ones with the 2 LMGs, have both appeared in the scrub, and they are laying down fire on these 2 German sections, the ones that are in the open, because they're going to probably cause more casualties on them than the ones in the scrub over there. Plus these are also these are closer to the OP over there in the corner anyway. So we've got 1 section firing here. First of all, firing at these Germans on Overwatch. These will be able to fire back, but we'll do all the Soviet firing first and sort the Germans out. So the Soviets are wanting to inflict as many casualties as possible. They need 4 5s and 6s to hit. With this, they've got 2 6s for their LMG and then 4 rifles. So we're looking at 4 5s and 6s, so we'll get rid of our misses. That's quite a good number hit, as you would expect, with that amount of firing. So we've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 hits in total. They're in the open. So that is spread between the two teams because there are 2 LMG teams in there, 4 hits on each. So we'll do the one with 5 men in it first of all. So let's have a look. So we're now looking at 5s and 6s are kills, and then 3s, 4s is shock. So that's actually 3 kills. So that's those chaps off. 1 hit on that LMG crew. 1 shock. God, this might be pretty bloody already. However, they've taken 3 hits in total. One of those could be on the junior or the senior leader. So let's just roll 1 to 3, and he's hit. One of them is. So 1 to 3 is the junior leader. 4 to 6 is the senior. So it's the junior leader. This is the unnamed senior leader, by the way. So let's see what happens to him. 1, he's killed outright. So that's automatically a German morale check, so we'll do that in a second once we've taken the rest of the hits. Well, this is not going good so far. So then we've got our second team, same again, 5s and 6s are kills, so I'll just take that off to show there's no, that junior leader took the hit instead. So the other team has taken 1 kill and 2 shock. So there's the shock. We've got our 1 kill. There is only a senior leader in this section now, so let's roll to see if he's the hit. On a 1 he is. No, he's not. So it's one of the riflemen. So the Germans have already taken 4 casualties, along with a junior leader hit as well. So junior leader killed. On the bad things happen table is a 1, so that's -1 point straight away off the German morale. So they're down to 10 now. And then on this side, we've got this section firing as well. Same again, they've also got an SMG in there as well from their junior leader. So let's roll first of all for the other weapons, the rifles and the LMGs. So we've got, again, a good number of hits already in there. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in total from the LMGs and rifles. Then the SMG is only firing 2, but it's firing at long range, so 5s and 6s this time. So that's another hit. So same again, the Germans here are out in the open. So I've got to split these between the two teams. Before I forget, this is 5 hits on each of these now. So 5 hits on that first team. There is a junior leader in here as well. So we'll do the roll for this team here. So that is 2 killed and a shock. So we'll get that shock on while I remember. So the rifleman is off. Let's see if the junior leader is hit as part of one of those 2 that's hit. No, he's not. So they're taking hits already as well. Right, so next up, we've got this section here. Let's see what they take. 5s and 6s are kills, so 1 kill and 1 shock. So let's see if that's the junior leader. On a 1 it is. No, it's not. So another rifleman off there. And then 1 shock. So the German section here is firing back at the Soviets over there. They're in hard cover because they're in entrenchments. They're really going to need to make this count. Well, let me remove 1 dice for their shock. And we're looking at 4, 5s and 6s again to hit because of the range. This is the LMGs and the rifles. The SMGs of the leaders are out of range, unfortunately. So they've caused a few hits there. And they've got 2, 4, 6, 7 hits on those Soviets. 6 is the kills, 5 is shock. So let's have a look. They've killed 1 and caused 3 shock. Let's see if that kill is on their junior leader. A 1 it is. No, it isn't. So it's one of the rifles and 3 shock. So that was an opening move from the Soviets. They've actually caused a hell of a lot of casualties already on the Germans in the open. They caught them as well, literally with their pants down. Let's see, they've got another phase coming up as well, so let's see what they do with that. So the Soviets get another phase, but after that one, God, do they really need it? Let's see anyway, let's see what happens. So they've got a 5, so that's their first chain of command points. They've got a 3, which is junior leader, and 3 ones, which is either 3 teams or can be combined into various different things. The Soviets are probably in the best position they can be at the moment, so they've just taken 2 junior leaders, this one here and this one here obviously. He has reduced shock, and there's then getting them to fire at the same target. And these ones, again, are just going to fire at this target. So we'll start with these ones over here. We're looking at 4, 5s and 6s. They have got reduction because of shock, but they've hit quite a few there. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 hits. So that's 4 on each team. There is also their unnamed senior leader in there. So we'll do this team first of all. This is the one with 3 crew in there, and then there's that guy there in with those. I'm just trying to remember. So we're basically firing at the 3 crew of the LMG. 5, 6 is the kills. 4, 5 is shock. So that's another kill and 2 more shock on them. Sorry, 3 more shock on them. So that takes them up to 4. They've got that other kill. So that may be on their senior leader. A 1, and it is. No, it's not. So it's a kill on their crew. They are just about to break at this point. They haven't broken yet. Any more shock or 1 more kill and they will. These ones over here, they've already got 2 shock. So they've got 2 crew left and their riflemen. So again, let's see what happens. 5, 6 as the kills. So we've got 2 kills in there and no shock this time. So the 2 kills, let's see if one of those is on their senior leader. So have a look. 2, it's hit him, yes. So that's at least a wound, if nothing else. And a 1, he's killed outright. So another one is down. And then we've got another kill over here. So we'll take him off. So again, they are almost broken, but not quite. That means they get another bad things happen. So let's see what they get. A 1. That just takes them down by senior leader killed 1 point. But now they're now down to 9. So still not great. And not great for German morale overall. Over here, on this side, we've got these guys firing. So these are now in range with the SMG for the leader. So that's the white dice. He's rolling on a 5 or a 6. The rest are on 4, 5 or a 6. So let's see what they get. So the 2 SMGs have hit. Let's get rid of everything else that hasn't hit. And again, a reasonable number of hits here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, 5 on each of these teams, and there is also a junior leader still in there. So the first one here on, which is basically 2 crew for the LMG, 5s and 6s are kills. So that's wiped out the LMG team. It's also given them a shock. Let's just work this out because it may, one of those hits may be on the junior leader. So 1 or a 2 it is. No, it's not. So that team is gone. So that's another bad things happen roll. Team wipes out. A 1 or a 2 it's nothing. Anything above -1. So another -1 point there. The German morale is dropping terribly here. So that was the first set of firing. Second set of firing on here. On this, there's 4 men in this team here with 1 shock, and again still that junior leader. 5s and 6s are kills. Good God. Right, that's 1 shock. Let's do that first of all, and 4 kills. So that takes their shock up to 2. 4 kills. Let's see if it's a junior leader. 1 to 4 it is. He's hit. Yes, he's hit. So another bad things happen roll. And a 3 is he is wounded until the end of the phase. Sorry, the end of the turn. So that's him. These have also lost another 2. So that's not a team wiped out yet. But again, they are also almost broken as well. But that's another bad things happen roll. The junior leader being wounded. They need a 3 or more for anything to happen. Let's have a look. 6. That's 2 points off. The Germans' morale has dropped down to 6 in 2 turns. Can they actually pull anything back from this? My mistake here. This team actually is pinned is broken, so they're going to fall back off the table, so they've disappeared as well. But we have to do another bad things happen roll. For the Germans, a 5 on this one is another point off, so they're now down to 5 on their morale, and these have pretty much left the table at this point. Okay, after taking such a battering, the Germans have decided to withdraw, so they're not rolling their dice just yet. They will do in a second, because I'll show you why. Any unit that is unpinned and can trace an unbroken line to their jumping off point within 12 inch can get off the table, so that's those, they can get straight off. We've also got these ones over here. These are just within 12 inch, so that full section is off as well, as is the senior leader. He's off as well. Hands. These chaps, as I said, are just outside of that 12 inch, so I'm going to have to roll the command dice and see what they do. They are obviously going to fall back as far as they can get, but it still means that they may get hit by some more Soviet fire. The Germans, unfortunately, have also got that junior leader who is wounded and can't activate till the end of the turn, so they need to end a turn before he can do anything. 2 6s mean they do retain the phase, which is useful. 5 gives them that extra chain of command point, up to 4, and then 2 4s is 2 senior leaders, which they can't do anything with because they've only got junior leaders and teams on the table. But they have retained the phase. To increase their chances of ending the phase, the turn, they're going to throw all 4 of their dice in. So let's see what happens with this. No, it doesn't end the phase, but they do retain it. But they get a junior leader, a team, and other bits and pieces that aren't particularly useful at this point. So at least their team can begin to withdraw. So their team has withdrawn, literally leaving the wounded behind. This poor guy is still out in the open on his own, but they're trying desperately to get off the table as quick as possible. As we said, they retain that phase. So let's just see if they get to end the turn this turn. No, they do retain the phase again, but they get to... actually, that team was going to withdraw before I rolled those dice, so I'm trying to end the turn at this point. So that team has withdrawn at least, but their junior leader is still stuck out there in no man's land, so they get another phase, and they get another phase. So this is up to 5 on their points, but he still can't move, so it's still the Germans' turn, and we are 2 chain of command points. So that takes him up to 6, and nothing else. He can spend that chain of command point, but he can only spend it in his turn. Apologies, he can spend it at any time, so he's going to spend his chain of command point to end the turn, which means he's no longer wounded, but the phase goes to the Soviets. So let's see what happens with them. They retain the phase, a 2 and a 5, so they get another chain of command points. Not that they really need it at this point, but they also get a 2, which is a section firing as well. And quite obviously the Soviets are using this section to fire at the German down here. So we've hit on 4 5s and 6s. The reason I'm doing this is because it's a campaign. If it was just a normal game, I would have ended a couple of phases ago. But because it's a campaign, I need to know if this junior leader will survive or not. He's taken 8 9 hits. There's literally no point rolling the dice. He's been killed, so it's another junior leader is out, and the game is over.